Okay, got it. Um, yeah. So just for a little message here in Discord for you guys, just um, and that's also where we made those announcements. But yeah, that's the one about the tickets at least. All right, let's keep going here. So this is from Axe. Will the flaps be more loaded due to the steeper reentry, or less because the vehicle slows down sooner? I can't answer that. That's some pretty advanced aerodynamics and fluid simulations there that would really allow us to know the exact flight trajectory. Because I don't know. Yeah, it might experience higher G loads, but they might. I have no idea. I have no idea. Might experience some peaks in some areas and less stresses in others. Yeah, that's a great question. I would love to see the data on that. That's stuff that makes me um, that makes me excited. Thank you so much, Raymond, for the membership, and Vicky Miller on this time. No, don't expect that for every launch. In fact, last time, until there's some major changes, honestly, I don't see. We see so many updates on X, and I just don't really see the need for these tours constantly, because even between the one that we did in May and the 2 years before that, yeah, frankly, a lot of and I probably should just let him go on his speech. To me, I was sitting there going, we know this, we know this, we know this, we know this. We've heard this 100 times, and I was almost trying to get through some of those moments more often. And I should have just let it not have that, because I was kind of trying to get new info on stuff that they can't share publicly. So when I did ask for some more information, we had to cut it out, unfortunately. So the last interview to me was almost like being put in an awkward place, because it was a mixture between, yeah, we know this, and then the stuff that we don't know, we couldn't even take to air. So yeah, not always ideal. It's not quite as easy as it might look. So um, this is from Service, probably is how you'd say that. Keep up the great work. Do you know if there's any physical data connection between ship and booster? We never see any cables. I don't think so. That's a really good question. Is there a little umbilical of data between? There might be. You'd think there would be, but they could just be flying two completely independent vehicles. You would think they would need some kind of communication, though. Huh. I don't know. That's a great question. Anyone in Discord know the answer to that, and not just a total speculation like what I'm doing right now? um, let's see. Let's keep going here. This is from Grom Life 43. Groms are awesome. I want to build a turbo Grom someday. Hi Tim, have you been following you for a long time? Still to this day, get excited like this the first day I started watching. Thank you for everything. Well, thank you so much for 53 months of membership. Amazing. I mean, I got to tell you, we're feeling really good here today. I hope that it comes out beyond my slightly being under the weather. I hope that you guys can tell how relaxed we are here. This is yeah, we're still excited, and I'm more excited than ever to see a catch attempt. I mean, I can't believe, of all timing, of all things, I would have had the worst FOMO in the world if I missed one of my best friend's weddings, and seeing all my friends, my childhood friends, in New York City for that wedding. I would have just been sitting here so sad that I didn't see it, and it was a FOMO situation no matter what. I obviously felt left out of missing Flight 5, but I would have been probably feeling even more FOMO missing out with my friends. So I'm glad that I put friends as a priority, because of course we were still able to capture and stream and do all the things here. It would have been, frankly, kind of just selfish of me to try to just make an appearance just to be able to see it with my own eyes. So this is my opportunity today to see it, and of course we'll be bringing you guys outside with me when that happens. We have outside views, as always. We try. The goal of this whole thing, by the way, this is ever since I came out here for Star Hopper, which you can see in one of our shots, that still is looking over the launch site today. It's just sitting there next to the tower across the street now, though. Ever since I started streaming that in 2019, my goal was, I knew that people weren't always capable of coming to see these things in person. And I was like, I've got gear. I can try to share this. And I started streaming from on top of Nomad's roof in Boca Chica Village. And that's where it all started, because I know that it's not always possible for everyone to come. And this saved my butt when I was not able to be here in person. I was still able to stream because of the hard work of our team. It's just been absolutely amazing. There's an optical link between ship and booster, apparently. I did not know that. Huh. That is unusual. Did not see that one come over. That's really cool. A laser connection would be sick. Again, sorry that I'm stuffy. I really apologize. That's really annoying, I know, on air, but I'm trying the best I can. Thank you for providing the best coverage of this historic flight. Tell Elon, great job saving the USA. I stay out of politics, my friends. I like to keep the uniting of humans, and on anything. I think you've probably been around me long enough now to know that no matter who's in office, whether it was when I was first streaming, it would have been Obama, and then when I was streaming later is Trump, and then I guess I started streaming. No, I technically it was around. I don't know. I've been through at least 3 administration changes though now, and frankly, I'm spaceflight. I'm pro spaceflight. Like, let's go. All I care about is us uniting and watching history together, because frankly, politics come and go. These gets me excited, and these missions, if this next administration speeds up this progress, that's great. That is great. I will be thankful for that, in the same way that I was thankful for Jim Bridenstine. That was a fun time. So I look at the results and I get thankful and excited about results, and I don't put my eggs in the basket of a few people and a political parties. I don't find that exciting. I don't find that uniting. Actually, you know what my real trick is? I see it happen all the time when I say something or when I read something online, and the first thing that somebody's response is, it gets filtered through their political system. In my opinion, I'm not here to preach on you guys, but I will preach on that. If you find yourself, no matter what your answer is to something about politics, maybe rethink your own priorities, because that's not healthy. Yeah, I just don't agree with that. From Tommy C, thank you so much for your support. Much appreciated. What I really want to know is, could the SpaceX Starship rescue Matt Damon on Mars? Maybe someday. Maybe someday in the future, we absolutely could have a vehicle capable of rescuing someone on Mars. And the Martians' entire plot would be quite different when it's just simply a Starship goes and lands and boop, boop. Yeah. This is from the Pichu Squad. Do you think they will be holding until 420 local? Also heard somewhere that it would be a launch of 420. That was talked about. And very likely, the end of the launch window is 4:30 local time. I don't think they want to risk it, frankly, if they have a clear, because so much of it depends on weather and traffic, marine traffic, air traffic. If you have a launch window open and you got a green board, go for it. There's no reason to hold it arbitrarily. So, yeah. Marina R, that's why we're here. Lost our minds watching Starship flight. Good. I'm glad that other people are here losing their minds over Starship flights. It is exciting. Like I said, this is the stuff that gets me excited. This is seeing people work together. The unity and people just putting aside any differences they have at work or home and coming together to build a giant rocket to eventually, hopefully, take us to Mars is exciting. That's very exciting to me. That's what this is all about. Let's see. Have I ever hung out with Fraser Kane? You know what? We shot a video a long time ago, I think in 2017 or 18 together, and it was very fun. And I was cheering for Titan, the drone on Titan, Dragon. Dragonfly. Oh, gosh, I can't believe that I almost forgot about that. But I don't think we've ever met in person, but I might be wrong. I feel like I did meet him somewhere. Fraser's awesome. I'm a huge fan of Fraser Kane. Would love to hang out with him in person more. So let's see. Tommy, do I think SLS gets canceled? If it does, what do you think humans, when do you think humans will land on the moon? Okay. I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming because this is the ultimate topic right now, especially with Elon's influence in the government and the Department of Government Efficiency. Do I think SLS will get canceled? I think it's more on the chopping block now and in the next.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Peak G-forces of the flip maneuver itself does not exceed too much more than 2.5 Gs of force. So we have a video on this. I would have recommended it's an older video, but it's actually awesome. I feel like we did a lot of really cool things for this video. But this is the approximate G-force of a belly flopping Starship. It's not that G-forces of the flip maneuver itself rotates rather quickly, but not anything crazier than a half of a roller coaster. You know, a roller coaster changes direction very quickly. It's quite mundane as far as carnival rides go, even, believe it or not. It looks insane, and it might not be safe as far as being human rated anytime too soon, but as far as the actual G-forces, well within human tolerances. Well within. This is from Jacosaurus. Will they start reusing some of the engines from the first stage? I think we'll just see a full reflight, honestly. I don't know if we'll see them grabbing engines off of, you know, the last booster that they caught, or if, you know, what will happen. But my guess is, you know, there's a chance that if this comes back looking better than the last one, we'll just simply see them refly the whole thing. They might have to replace an engine or two, you know, or whatever. But I do expect to see basically a fully reused Starship. So, or booster, I guess, sorry, first. In which case the engines will be reused, but I also expect the fuselage to be reused. Let's see. This is from the Ehrenberg. Do the front flaps even need to move? I don't really see why having only bottom flaps wouldn't work. So the one thing that the top flaps do, if they're out of the main thing is at hypersonic speeds, you want them basically out of the way because that's just where they need to be for optimal. Oh my gosh, hang on. I got to see Sapphire Tracker. Hold on. We got some action in the water right now. What is this? Someone kite surfing. And now, of course, we happen to lose it right when we go to it. Whoop, whoop. Where'd it go? That was cool. It was cool for a second. That's the other fun part about being, I guess, on South Padre for one of these launches. You're literally just on a nice beach. Fun bonus. But yeah, the front flaps still, like, if you want to really be able to provide proper roll. Okay, so it's so hard to explain when we're talking about roll, because normally roll orientation of a rocket is like this, right? And normally you have pitch and you have yaw, right? I mean, this is all relative. So let me put the hatch like this so that people are sitting this way. Okay, so you have pitch, you have yaw, and you have roll of rocket. When Starship's re-entering, you can kind of redo your point of control and consider this to be now forward. So when it's re-entering belly flopping, you can almost picture it as roll being like this, which would kind of be like your yaw. And then you have its yaw, which would have been your roll, but your pitch stays the same. In order to really be able to do this, anything on this axis, you have to really have 4 points, because you have to be able to move opposite flaps to each other. And that will be able to make it so, you know, you tuck these in and it will want to go this way, tuck these two.
Okay, let's see. Just set up the last couple things here. I don't know, maybe I'm too loud, but I don't think so. We're just under 1 hour away from the launch, and yeah, if we fade here to Tim's stream real quick, you can see that SpaceX put they put the banana for scale sticker that's on the Starship 31 on their store. So yeah, there you can see that. Yeah. Let's try and listen to Tim a little bit. Yeah.
Kind of stuff from SpaceX. Something silly and goofy like that. Oh, is this is moving in that correct direction? I mean, the worst case scenario, of course, is that something catastrophic happens on the launch pad and they lose the vehicle on the launch pad and they damage the infrastructure, including the launch tower, the launch mount, the tank farm. Like, that is the worst case scenario. The amount of propellant in that vehicle, obviously it's not all going to explode. If they did lose it, it'd be more of an extreme deflagration and a huge fireball, and it would be some explosive elements, but it wouldn't all be a pure detonation. So when you do see figures of how much potential energy it has, comparing it to like a nuke, it doesn't explode the same way a nuke does, where it's not all a perfect mixture, because you have tanks separating and things spreading out at different times. The mixture ratio isn't perfect. You'll have a big explosion and a big fireball, but it's not like a giant instantaneous detonation. Even if in the worst case scenario, that's just not how this stuff works. But anyway, that would be bad for most of our cameras. It'd be bad for Mr. T, our remote camera. It could even be bad for some of these cameras, like way out here at 1.5 miles, honestly. 2.5 kilometers. That you never know. But as far as a public safety standpoint, they do obviously clear everyone within a 5-mile radius, or the closest the public can be is about 4 miles. So yeah, so just under 8 kilometers is how close the public can be. You'd hear it. You'd probably feel the shockwave of a massive explosion like that, but it wouldn't do any damage at that distance. So that does kind of explain some stuff.
Alrighty. We are live again. I'm back. And I was told I'm too quiet, but so yeah. Let's try to be a little bit louder. Here you can see the tower venting, and this starts like around 1.5 hours before the launch. But yeah, you can already see it's venting quite a lot. If we switch to the NSF stream here, you can see, okay, but you can still see down here at the bottom, you can see the launch mount venting, as well as here the tank farm is also venting. Now if we switch to Tim real quick, there you can see on the bottom is that venting. Let's go back to all streams. Ignore the NSF stream down here in the bottom right. There you can't really see anything. And this is not live. This is the other launch. This is from IFT-5. So yeah, here again on Tim's stream. Oh, sorry, I didn't even switch that on accident. No, well. On Tim's stream here, we can see basically everything. Here on the bottom, we can see the tank farm on the bottom left, and the bottom on the middle, we can see the OLM or the launch mount, and here you can also see the tower. Now, I don't actually know when the fueling will start. Let me look at that real quick, and then we will see. Wow, there's 3 of you guys now. Welcome. Okay, so here we have the timeline. I don't know, I can't show you that unfortunately right now, but yeah, so here at T-minus 49 minutes and 50 seconds we'll have ship fuel starting. Then 20 seconds later, no sorry, 30 seconds later, we have the liquid oxygen for the ship. Then at T-minus 41 minutes, we have the booster fuel. And then at T-minus 35 minutes, we have the booster LOX. LOX is liquid oxygen, by the way. Also, we have at T-minus 19 minutes, we have the Raptor engine chill. And then at T-minus 3 minutes and 20 seconds, there's the ship propellant is complete. And yeah, at T-minus 30, T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds, booster propellant is complete. And yeah, at T-minus 30 seconds, there's a go for launch. T-minus 10, the flame diverter activates, which is like on the OLM. Let me transition to this. On the bottom there you can see the OLM. That's the orbital launch mount. And that will activate at T-minus 10 seconds. T-minus 3 seconds, the Raptor engines will activate. And yeah, that's the launch sequence. When it launches, I'll of course walk you guys through. There you can see the OLM venting a lot. And if we switch to this here, you can see how much the booster is venting there. The tower, sorry, not the booster. And hi Oliver, or Ollie in chat. Welcome, how you doing? I hope you're doing good. And yeah, let me cut back to all the streams. There we can see, oh yeah, here on the bottom on Tim's streams, we can see how much that OLM is venting. And here, even when we switch back to all streams, let's do that, we can really see how much it's venting. I don't even, let me check real quick when the SpaceX stream starts. Here you can see the venting again on the, oh, it's gone already. It sucks. Go back then. Yeah, I'm checking when the SpaceX stream starts. And yeah, let's listen in here. Maybe we'll see what Everyday Astronaut has to say. And yeah.
Next year. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, yeah, we stream. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like Soyuz might become our 7 rocket family might be coming up on that number maybe. I'm trying to picture what 2,000 would be. That's a lot. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we can't probably do it in person because of how hard it is to do live streams in person. You'll see on our tour when we do a infrastructure test. By the way, yeah, it looks like prop load is actually go because we are at that loading time. This is exciting.
All right, propellant load is underway.
Baby. Remind me, guys, at T-minus 30 minutes.
Oop. What do I do now?
Egal, wo du es gesehen hast, auf Amazon findest du es wieder. Finde tausende erstaunliche Aktionen.
I did something bad. Prop load is underway officially, so yeah. We are underway. Yeah. Let me fix my stream here real quick. Here, properties. Uh-oh, what did I do, guys? What did I do? Let's stop this, go here, and here. Alright, we're back. Let me turn him off here real quick, so we can talk. Yeah. Let's transition back to that. Tim's stream is back up. And yeah. So prop load for both is underway. And yeah, that's kind of it. Oh, actually, SpaceX has only posted for the ship. Let me check SpaceX's Twitter and see if they've also posted for the booster, which I don't think so. I haven't seen. Also on the bottom right, ignore what is launching there. That is just IFT-6. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Only the upper stage has been confirmed by SpaceX. Later, we might be able to see. Then we might be able to see a ring of ice forming basically around the ships. That's basically because the fuel is so cold that it freezes the air. So yeah, that's basically just the air, kind of the water in the air freezing around the booster because it's so cold. Not just the booster but also the ship. Let's check back here. I still don't have an answer on when the SpaceX stream starts. But you can see I just refreshed the page up there. I'm not really sure. So yeah. Let me switch to the NSF stream down here. This one. This one's pretty low quality. But yeah, whatever. That's not really good. Let me try to fix that. There we go. So here we can see a close-up. This up here on the big picture is basically it's a quick disconnect arm, it's called, and it's basically just when the rocket launches, it quickly removes away from the vehicle, therefore a quick disconnect, and it allows this is basically where it's being powered from and fueled, and right before launch it disconnects. On the bottom again you can see the venting. Let me see what else we have here for views. Here on Tim's stream you can really see how this is basically in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing much around. It's in Boca Chica, Texas, down in Texas. And yeah, let's see again. Yeah, there you can see. You can actually see on the right. You can see the second tower, which is pretty crazy. That is very recently only there. So yeah. Theoretically, in about 1 minute or so, 1 minute 10 seconds, we should start seeing the booster getting fueled, and yeah, then we'll see if we start seeing some rings on the ships. If we switch down to the NSF view here, the one in the bottom right, that's this one. Can we already see a ring? No, we cannot, unfortunately. But yeah, here on Tim's stream, we can see the catches, not the catches, the chopsticks, which will be used to catch the super heavy booster. To basically, it catches it and then be able to reuse it. Yeah, without having to, waste it. Ollie mentioned he couldn't listen, so let me type in a quick message. There, on the bottom on Tim's stream, and also on the top right, you can really see how much it's venting. Now venting. Oh, now if we switch back, you can actually see the frost rings. Let me go to the NSF stream here. There you can see the frost ring on the bottom there, on the flap, and you can actually see it condensing up there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, like I mentioned, that's because it's so cold that the air freezes around the booster. Let me let Tim know. Alright, so yeah, there you can see the ship has a frost ring or a chill ring or something. You can call it whatever you want. I'm gonna keep it up there until someone shows up something better. Yeah. There you can also see the OLM venting a lot in the background. Let me switch to this real quick here. No, not this one. Yeah. Here you can see the OLM venting. But yeah, that's not as interesting as the frost ring. You can actually see the frost ring getting better, getting bigger. So, someone said something. The SpaceX stream is live. Which looks perfect. Let's see if it works. Are we live? We are. Let's mute that. But yeah, here we go. There you can, on the top right, you can see the SpaceX stream. Yeah. You can, yeah, if we note how big the frost ring is right now, if we switch down to the NSF, I hate that this one's always so low quality. I'm gonna try to fix that maybe. But you can see how the frost ring, there you can see the second frost ring actually as well. That's for the upper tank. So it has basically two tanks, one for the liquid oxygen, one for the liquid oxygen, and one for the methane. Here you can see it's loading. There you can see the top chill ring or frost ring, so to say. Yeah, Tim is promoting his Astro Awards right now in January. I think it's 25th, 26th. I don't know if you're interested there, maybe. Let's go to all. This stream seems to be frozen. Oh, it's back now. Yeah, we will have in a few moments, I believe we shall have a new, yes, at 35 minutes we'll start booster locks load. That's when the liquid oxygen starts to load onto the booster. SpaceX is still not, live. Their stream has started, but they're still, on the title screen. Now, if we look here, yeah, at 35 minutes and 40 seconds, booster locks load should start, and yeah, then we will see. Let's try to, maybe let's listen into Tim here real quick. Let's go to his transition. No. Alright, let me mute myself.
Our cameras. I want confirmation that Jetty cameras and Dune cameras are both intentionally shut down right now. Okay, we do have confirmation that they are intentionally shut down. We're going to start firing those up. We're trying to conserve battery, so we have relays that are low power mode and high power mode. So we will start powering stuff up now. Again, this is a serious part of our production. I think it's just fun to share because it frankly leads to the excitement. But you can see some of our record-only cameras going live and turning on, powering up, and we can confirm that, yay, our systems are working as intended. This whole interface was powered by our friends at Gwyn Partners, who built this amazing thing. It was basically our mission control. And we literally have to use this for health checks. It shows the temperature of our cameras. It shows this is
All right. We can see the SpaceX stream has started. There we can see. It's basically a recap of all the things. There's IFT-5. I believe that was from IFT-4. There's IFT-5. There's a booster catch. You can see how the chopsticks are catching that booster. And yeah, SpaceX is live. There's also from IFT-5 the ship landing. That was also pretty incredible to get views from that. Let me switch back to all streams. If you notice here on the SpaceX stream, you can see the shirts. It's bananas. This is referencing the banana to scale on the ship, which is pretty funny. Yeah, here's a nice drone shot. You can really see how it's right on the beach, and yeah, there's one road going to it, and that's kind of it. This is the launch site. There's also a build site, so to say, where the rockets are built, and this is basically just where they launch. The build site is a little bit bigger. Let's try to listen into the SpaceX stream. Let me see if I can do that.
Starship that will soon be taking us to the moon and Mars.
All right.
Prove that we can safely bring the booster back to the launch tower, which is a key factor in driving rapid reusability, and land ship with a high precision splashdown in the Indian Ocean. We'll be taking you through today's test objectives in just a moment, but first, let's check in with Dan, who is on the ground just a few miles from the pad at Starbase with the best views. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, Jesse, it's going fantastic. I got a couple hundred of my best friends out here ready to watch this launch and hopefully another catch today. But welcome everybody back to Starbase for another Starship launch. I'm Dan Hewitt. Got Launch Control Center right behind me, tower just about 6 miles over that shoulder. It has been a pretty quiet countdown. Not a lot of chatter on the loops right now as we are into prop load, and we are counting down to the very top of our window at 4 p.m. Central Time, so just about 32 minutes from now. Right now, the range is projected to be clear by then. We've got our assets out there making sure land, air, sea, everything around the launch pad and then our flight path are clear before we give the final go to liftoff today. We got through the weather poll. Everything was looking great. A little breezy today, but well within our constraints for both launch and catch criteria. And as you can tell, we're loading propellant on board the vehicle. You can see those white frost lines starting to tick up as we're putting the cryogenic, the liquid methane, and liquid oxygen out to both of those vehicles. The ship prop load started at about T-minus 49 minutes, and then the booster followed just a couple minutes after at about T-minus 41. We're almost halfway full on ship, just about a third on booster. Those are both going to continue until we're about 3 minutes, 20 seconds before liftoff on ship. And then the booster is going to close out at about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So we pretty much we're loading up right to that last possible minute, keeping it as dense and cold as possible, and then getting off the launch pad. The countdown startup sequence, everything will look very familiar if you watched Flight 5, assuming you did. But you're going to see the engines start to ignite at about 3 seconds before liftoff. They're going to start up in 3 different groups. First, those center 13, then 15 of that outer ring, and then those final 5, bringing all 33 Raptors online. After that, we'll see about a second later, and then it'll lift off, so a couple seconds from first light until motion. As usual, we can hold at T-minus 40 seconds if we have any last-minute issues to clear, anything with the range, anything that triggers on the vehicle. And if we pass T-minus 10 seconds, the deflector fires, and then we scrub, then we're done for the day for at least 24 hours. But weather is fantastic, light breeze, no clouds in the sky, not tracking any hardware constraints to launch today. If we're not able to get off the pad, though, we've got opportunities throughout the week, could be 24 to 48 hours later. But everything looking great. I'm excited to be able to see another one of these get off the pad. Check back in with everybody in just a couple of minutes. Back over to Jesse and Kate.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Now, you could see those 2 towers in the back there in the distance at Starbase. Starbase is really coming along just as rapidly as Starship is.
All right, I'm back, and yeah, so back to the multi-views. Yeah, 4 minutes ago, SpaceX posted again. Basically, just a recap of what the objective is. Let me try to. Objectives include the booster once again returning to the launch site for catch, reigniting a ship Raptor engine while in space, and testing a suite of heat shield experiments and maneuvering changes for ship re-entry and descent over the Indian Ocean, as well as today's flight test aims to expand the envelope on ship and booster capabilities and get closer to bringing reuse of the entire system online. There, you're actually on the SpaceX stream. You can see actually kind of the production. There you can see a ship. Here next to that ship here on the screen, you can see the factory. It's also pretty new. Here, this is the build site. You can see a Starship being rolled from the build site to the. There's that big building with the windows. Yeah, that's basically was a ship rolling from the production site to the launch site. All right. Yeah, you can see here. Let me switch to the SpaceX stream. There you can see. Okay, that it just removed it, but you can see the here from the tower a camera. Yeah, here you can see it from the tower. Let me fix this stream real quick. There we go. Okay, hopefully the NSF YouTube stream should be fixed now. Now, what is SpaceX explaining here? This looks like there's a decal. That was a decal on the ship. Yeah. Let's switch back to all the streams. Here you can see that this is actually a banana. They're actually launching a banana into space. They also just wow. That's pretty funny. This seems to be kind of delayed when we refresh this.
And nearly twice the size of that is the full.
Okay, there. Hopefully it's a little bit up to date. Now we do have a little bit of confusion here. That's transitions all stream. Oh, by the way, we're at 23 minutes, which is crazy. There you can see the bottom at the of the SpaceX stream. You can see the bottom of the booster. There you can also see actually some venting already. But here this is like what 33 Raptor engines. I haven't lost count. Yeah. There you can, on the SpaceX stream, sorry I just cut away from it, you can see a camera from the booster looking at the grid fins at the top there, and then also this little hook that is going to be used to catch it using the chopsticks. But yeah, we're just 22 minutes away from launch. Next milestone should be at T-minus 19 minutes. We should see some Raptor chill. That's basically when some liquid oxygen is put like streamed through the engines and through the turbo pumps, so that when they do start, it's not such a cold shock, you know. If it's a lot nicer to, you know, enter a cold pool slowly instead of jumping in there, then you know it can damage the engine, so to say. Oh, on the SpaceX stream, this is not live. This is a replay. There you can see stage separation. Now, SpaceX's Starship is actually very interesting because it does a hot staging process. So that means the that the ship lights its engines before the booster is even disconnected. So basically, the engines of the ship are firing directly into the booster, which is why there's a hot staging rings, which lets the gas from the engines escape outside and not destroy the booster, because the booster still has to come back. How you doing, Parker? Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Thanks for the message. There on the SpaceX stream, let me switch it. You can see the ship landing in the last flight, IFT-5. Yeah, but as it launches, I'll walk you guys through it again. Yeah. So we're back on IFT-6 now. Let me switch down here to the YouTube stream of NSF. There you can see the frost rings already starting to get a lot bigger on the booster, and as well on the ship up there. Remember how it was just barely like a little ring? Now it's okay. Let me transition to this, and yeah. We can see the flight profile. We have an ascent, then we have max Q, stage separation, there's the hot staging. We have a boost back burn of the booster, and a Starship burn to enter the almost orbit. It doesn't actually make orbit. You can see Super Heavy got caught, and sorry I had to yawn. Then Starship will coast for a long time, engine relight test, and then it will that was funny, it will have a re-entry burn, and yeah, not a re-entry burn, I'm sorry, a belly flop, and then a water landing burn. Switch back to these, and yeah. By now, the Raptor engine's chill should have started. Let me check the SpaceX site, SpaceX Twitter, if they have posted anything about that. And yeah. SpaceX just mentioned that they will be flying the Starship instead of, they're going to force it to do a little bit more than it normally would. They're going to fly it basically nose first into the atmosphere. So it puts more stress on the vehicle, and it re-enters faster because basically it has less area to slow down. Now, SpaceX didn't post anything, by the way. let me try to get some water real quick. I'll be back in like 1 minute. I'm gonna turn on the SpaceX stream for you guys, or at least the audio for the SpaceX stream. How do I even do this? Ah, yes, like this. There we go.
Alongside the actual footage of Catch from Flight 5, this video is just mind-blowing to see the predicted versus reality. And just like the last flight for today's booster catch, there
of criteria that need to be met in order to proceed with catch. Automated checks have to indicate we have a healthy booster and a healthy tower, and the flight director must issue a manual command which is informed by manual checks from the flight control team. If this command is not sent prior to the completion of the boost back burn, or if automated health checks show unacceptable conditions with Super Heavy or the tower, the booster will default to a trajectory that takes it to a landing burn and soft splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
I remember when we first heard the call out that tower was go for catch on Flight 5, and wow, I still get goosebumps when I think about that moment. Now, for today's test, just like Flight 5, we're only going to catch if everything on the booster and the tower checks out after launch. As always, we accept no compromises when it comes to the safety of the public and our team. And so to that end, the area around the pad and the
Alright, I'm back. Yeah, you guys probably heard it, but they were comparing the actual catch to the render, which was like dead on. We can see it again here on Tim's stream. Here. Yeah, 14.5 minutes left. Let's see what we got. This was actually, the next update will actually be at 3 minutes when the prop loading is complete. Also, hey Lee. How are you doing? I hope you're doing fine. How was your journey back? I didn't really get a chance to talk to you much, but yeah, I hope you're doing well. Here on the SpaceX stream, let me turn that on. You can really see the booster landing, how precise that really is. Very, very nice. So yeah, let's now let me know. Do you guys want the audio from me and another stream, and if so, which stream, or just another stream? I have audio for Tim. I have audio for NSF, NASA Space Flight, or I have audio for SpaceX. All right. Here on the SpaceX stream, you can see the the future plan, so to say. Here, so you can see a lunar. There you can see a orbital refueling. These are actually pretty new renders. I don't think they've been seen before, which is kind of cool. I think it's an updated version of the lunar ship here. Yeah. Here you can see the Starship, lunar Starship with an Orion capsule. There you can see again the lunar Starship. They're, for Artemis, there are already plans and funding have gone to SpaceX to develop Starship. But yeah, we're just about 10 minutes away. I can't promise that my timer is very accurate, but you have to. Oh, it's pretty accurate. SpaceX is just about 10 seconds or 15 seconds behind. And yeah, let me use the bathroom and then I will be back.
Flight test of Starship before it becomes fully operational.
And we tend to do our testing out in the open, just like today. And that means people sometimes see when our hardware doesn't perform as we planned during that testing. And that's okay, because this is exactly what we are testing for, to physically see if hardware performance matches what we expect it to do or not. Even more with today's test flight, where we're purposefully pushing the ship beyond its limits.
Starship development is also being aided by Starlink space-based connectivity. You might remember the Starlink panels that are incorporated into Starship, and you can see them there on your screen, those rectangular panels on Starship's nose cone. Starlink brings us the epic views in space and on re-entry, and
while still providing control. There's also a wide range of upgrades that will make the vehicle more reliable, adding redundancy to and the ability to operate for longer durations in space.
one unique aspect of a trip to Mars are the different conditions ship will see when entering the Martian atmosphere. Now, it's difficult to simulate Mars's atmosphere when re-entering on Earth, so we've been testing a variety of heat shield materials inside a specialized plasma jet chamber at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, where we're able to more closely simulate Mars's 95% carbon dioxide atmosphere.
Aside from looking awesome, this is important testing. The intense heat of entry will cause the CO2 to break down into its base elements, exposing Starship to atomic oxygen, which increases surface heating and can cause materials to oxidize or start to break down. Spacecraft entering over Mars encountered more than twice the amount of atomic oxygen at their peak when compared to Earth, and that is certainly a unique challenge. As we continue to test, we'll learn more about what makes a great heat shield for Mars. All right, now that we're heading into the final minutes of the countdown, let's go back to Dan for the latest on the ground there at Starbase.
All right, I am back. Sorry, it's still playing in the background. I do apologize. There we go. We're just 6 minutes, well, less than 6 already. So yeah, we are 5 minutes away. Let me look at the. Alright, so SpaceX says we're good. We are good and ready to go. Here you can see, let me switch to this stream, that's this one. You can see how crossed the booster already is. There you can see it again close up. And yeah, there. Alright, let's switch back to the all streams. Here on the SpaceX stream we have a nice graphics. There you can see how much it's already filled up. So we have the methane tank is 97% of the way full on Starship. LOX is liquid oxygen is 94%. On the booster we have 93% for methane and 89% for liquid oxygen. Yeah. Let me switch back to the all streams and let's see if we can spot anything interesting here. Here on the NSF up here, this one, you can see how dense the methane and liquid oxygen, or it's mostly liquid oxygen vaporizing, how liquid that is, how dense that is, and you can see how low it's hanging in the air. Yeah, so how close it is to the ground. Now, going back to all the streams, we are at like 3 minutes. Let's see what happens. I'll leave this up for you guys. I think I should probably leave get rid of the timer on the SpaceX stream. You can see from the ship there's actually a camera mounted on the flaps, giving a view down. There you can see the banana flying into space today. Let's go here. There you can really see the venting. And yeah, let me run real quick, update all of these live streams to make sure they are up to date.
That Starship is loaded with.
NSF was here, not live. Yeah. We're just under 2 minutes. Let me get rid of this timer for you guys. Okay, just move it to the top here. Oh, but it didn't do anything. Okay. Let me... Yeah, whatever. I'll just delete this. Remove. Let me also remove this. And then let me move this into the corner. There, you guys can see a little bit better. There we go. Hello, Hush Racer, and hello Mase. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing fine. Glad you're here. So we have 30 seconds here now on my clock, but we have here in the SpaceX stream we had just reaching 40 seconds. They sometimes do a hold, but they just went right through it. So this means we're all good to go. And yeah, I will try to keep you guys up to date. 224 seconds on the SpaceX stream, 17 seconds on the NSF stream. I messed something up, but alright. Whatever. There we go. And there's ignition. You can see the wow, crazy. There. Jesus. Okay, now we saw launch. You can see the purple flame. That's the methane. Yeah. There's a little bit of lag up there on the NSF stream, but there you can see the camera on the SpaceX stream of the ship viewed from that flap. Now here on Everyday Astronaut, you can really see that tracking shot. There's something just flew off on the SpaceX stream, but here you can see the tracking shots, and it's just literally amazing. Hello, Hush Racer. I thought you were Yona. I wasn't sure though. Hey, how you doing? There you can see the purple flame again. This will start to kind of expand as we go higher into the atmosphere, because the atmosphere gets less dense and can push against this plume a little bit less. So the plume, which is what comes out of the engine at the back, will start to get wider. So it kind of expands outwards. Now you can see condensation here. Let me switch to the SpaceX stream real quick. You can see the plume. You just saw condensation there, and yeah. Switching back to all streams now. That's you can see the plumes. Now it looks like NSF has lost coverage, has lost the tracking shot. So I guess I'll be switching back between space. Oh wow, there you can really see the plume expanding. You see how wide it got? Yeah, wow. We should have stage separation at some point now coming up. And yeah. Now I do apologize for that on the SpaceX stream. We have the launch kind of weird, but here you can see it. Ooh, it looks like NSF got coverage again there. There you can already see the hot staging. Let me switch to the SpaceX stream for that. You can see the engine shutting down. Now, there you can see the engine start of the upper stage, and then you can see the booster separating. Let me switch to Tim's stream here real quick. Oh, gotta go back to SpaceX stream. There you can see an onboard view of booster. It's doing its boost back burn right now. Yona, you're asking why the plume got bigger. It's because the atmosphere, when you're close to the ground, the atmosphere is denser and pushes more against it. So when you push out the gases, it lets the there's the shutdown of the boost back burn. When you go lower down, the atmosphere can push on it more, making it skinnier. It's like if you press against a balloon, it gets skinnier. It's kind of like that. And if you're higher up in the atmosphere, it allows it to expand more. There you can, on the SpaceX stream, you can see the hot staging ring here. It's the interstage, some people call it as well. Separate. That's used to protect the ship from the booster from the ship's plume. Now, go back to all streams. Here on the bottom right, we can see a pretty good tracking shot. On the left, we can see top left, we can see a shot of SpaceX's stream. Alright, we just heard that the booster is not going to be caught, which means we will either see a flight termination or we will, I'm sorry for the buffering. Now SpaceX's stream is stuck. I'm not sure what's happening there, but let me try to switch to Tim's stream. There we can see the booster. We might actually see a flight termination, but I'm not sure what's going to happen, what the backup plan is. It might be that it lands in the Gulf. Yeah. Let me just there on the bottom right, you can actually see the hot staging ring and the booster in one shot. Okay, let me switch to the SpaceX stream because they have the onboard views. If anything else happens, I can switch back. But yeah, it looks like they will be landing in the ocean, so they're not going to be going for a catch. They are coming in relatively hot. I mean, you can see it's like at Mach 4 right now in the bottom left corner. You can see that at only 20 kilometers, but this is pretty normal, I think. There you can see actually the atmospheric heating on those engines. It's making them glow because there's so much friction and so much pressure building up that actually it glows red. Now this is actually pretty cool. We had there you can see the shockwave. There's the boost back, the landing burn. Let's see. It looks like it slowed down enough. It's going pretty kind of sideways. It's probably doing the same profile. That's probably doing the same profile as it would do with the tower. There we can see an explosion just happen on the bottom. That's crazy, the buffering. There you can see that explosion also in Tim's. Wow, they're serving me an ad now. That's crazy. Let me get rid of that. But there you can really see that. If we go to Tim's stream, there we saw that huge fireball. Now on the SpaceX stream, you can see from inside the booster. Okay, it's gone now. Okay, there's could be the shutdown of the shutdown of the vacuum engines on the ship. Yeah. Let me switch back to all the views. mean, there we can still see it's still kind of laying there on the water. On the bottom left or top left, top right, we can see the. Here you can see it. The view from the ship in space right now. There you can see. Sorry for the text up there. You can see the ship engine cut off, so it means the Starship has shut down its engines and is now coasting. Now we go to all streams. Now on Tim's stream here on the bottom, you can see the booster still swimming on the water. Now there will be a pretty long coast phase. I think it's maybe around half an hour, which I think I'll be taking a break because my throat is already kind of hurting. But yeah, let's see. Oh, something's happening with the. Looks like the booster's kind of sinking. Now look at the SpaceX stream. You can see that water, beautiful. You can see that glittering. What's flying off there is it's either ice or it's small parts, but it's most likely ice. Remember those rings we had? Those are now starting to, flake off. Well, they already started a long time ago, but they are now. Yeah, the last couple ones are still flaking off. There is a really beautiful view. There's it looks like one of the bottom flaps. Yeah, no, this is one of the top flaps. Which you can see by how short it is. But it's a view from the body of the ship to the flap, and you got the Earth in the background. Those particles around it's most likely ice. Anything else, that's probably fine. Let me switch back to Tim real quick. There you can still see the booster kind of just laying there, and kind of just chilling there. It's last time it sank almost immediately because it blew up. Not last time, the time before that when it landed in the water. You can actually see on the ship, you can actually see how little fuel it has left. It takes a lot of fuel to get into orbit, but if you just slow down a little bit, you will start falling back into the atmosphere, and as soon as you touch the atmosphere, basically, you get slowed down so much. It's an exponential slowage, and you kind of just, you have to slow down very little to actually re-enter, especially when you burn at the top of your orbit. So at the highest point of your orbit, you can see now it's at 171 kilometers above the Earth. If you burn at the top, it's a lot more efficient to burn at the top to change the bottom. You can see the fuel in the bottom right corner on the SpaceX stream, which is the one that's up right now. You can see two bars. There's the engine diagram, which is all the way to the right. Then next to that is speed, which is 26,000 kilometers an hour right now. Below that, altitude, and below that is the liquid oxygen, and then the methane, liquid methane. CH4 is methane. And you can see those bars if you scroll back, they used to be full. So yeah, now they are like, it's maybe 5%. You can see all the way on the left, you can see a little bit gray, a light gray in the dark gray bar. That's where the fuel is. Now it kind of looks like the engines are on, but that's not the case. It's rather the cold thruster system trying to keep the ship in line and stable, so it doesn't spin. Here you can see on Tim's stream, you can see the booster still laying there. Let me switch back to the alt views. Looks like we're having some buffering down here in the corner. Let me check this. This looks good. There we go. Here, the SpaceX, this is a live view. Let me switch to SpaceX. You can actually see like some sort of vapor coming out. I'm not really sure what that is. This is inside of the payload bay. Yeah, that's inside the payload bay, which is pretty cool. There you can see it. Could see the banana. We're waiting for signal. Let me switch back to all the streams. They're actually, the NSF stream seems to be pretty up to date. I'm not sure what's happening there. There you can see the vapor again. I'm not really sure what that is. Yeah, now on the screen there's a lot of gray, which you can't really see. But yeah, let's see where we are. I think we're gonna listen into, let me check if the SpaceX stream is saying something. Now the SpaceX stream is just playing music. So I think we'll listen into Tim, but we will have all the streams up and showing. I'm gonna get a drink and then we'll go from there. There in Tim's stream, you can again see that the booster kind of just laying there, not sinking at all. So yeah, I'll be back in about like 5 minutes. You guys can listen to Tim, or yeah.
That is crazy. Wow. And look at those shots of Starship in orbit. Well, orbit-ish. At an altitude of 183 kilometers. Absolutely beautiful. You can tell how close it is to orbital velocity. Orbital velocity is roughly 28,000 kilometers an hour. It's 26,300. And currently going down because it is increasing in altitude, but that speed velocity will go back up as it's coming back down on its orbital path. So we will see speeds beyond that, which again is spaceflight. It'd be relatively easy to make a
So
dummy
sorry that you
adapter.
couldn't hear him real quick.
No big deal. Absolutely no big deal. To be able to adapt, to be able to, instead of flying the ICPS.
Also, good night, Marcel.
Just make
Hope you sleep
a
tight.
payload adapter that fits Orion. I think they can do that in
Until
6
tomorrow.
months. If they put a huge cupola on the Dragon capsule in 6 months and have it human rated, I think they can make an expendable Starship with that massive factory that cranks these things out once a month. They could do that in 6 months. This is from Daniel Sundberg. Daniel, good to hear from you again. Will there be less heat dissipation on entry to Mars due to less atmosphere? So I can't speak exact numbers here, but generally yes. But the thing is, you still need to scrub off the same amount of energy in the atmosphere. So it just means you'll stay in the atmosphere longer. So the total amount of energy is the same, or relatively the same, depending on the terminal velocity, obviously. At the very end, so your final burn, you'll have to use more propellant to burn and do a landing burn on Mars. Although it has lower gravity, so it has much less atmosphere. But you'd be surprised though how the heating, like a Starship gets unbelievably hot when it's still up at 80 kilometers. And at 80 kilometers, that's pretty similar to Mars's atmosphere at, just slightly above ground level. And so Starship will be re-entering much lower in Mars's atmosphere, but the conditions will probably be relative, and they'll design the flight profile around the limitations of the heat shield to be able to, stay within kind of those bounds. We will have to see though. Tom Richardson, thank you so much for your support, and same with Mark. I did see someone say fly a drone out there and check it out. It is still a TFR. There is still a temporary flight restriction. We are we're showing a personal Twitter feed. We need to update that. There we go. Yeah, look at Booster though. That is still on fire, still floating. She's going to go boom. John, we probably should recenter that just in case it does go boom. We want to get maximum boomage. It is drifting out of frame ever.
All right, I'm back. And yeah, you can see on Tim's stream here, you can see the booster still on fire, and well, it's probably gonna explode here soon, but yeah, we'll see. As Tim already just mentioned, you can, on the payload bay, you can see the banana again. I don't know what these trusses are in the payload bay, but it used to be the Starship satellites used to be able to, there was a door that would open, and you would be able to, the Starship satellites would fly out, so to say, and then the door would close again. It was like a little slit. I don't know if it has anything to do with that. But yeah, I'm not sure what those slits, those trusses are. Now we will be re-entering later. Let me look at this SpaceX stream real quick. So I don't know, I can't find an answer right now, but based on my intuition, saying that a full orbit is 90 minutes, then a full low Earth orbit, I should say, is 90 minutes, then a 3/4 orbit that Starship is doing is like an hour maybe. So maybe Starship will re-enter around the 1 hour mark. I'm not really sure. Let me look it up again. I don't know, I can't really find an answer, but maybe let's say around an hour. I think 48 minutes was it was last time, but I'm not really sure. So yeah, I guess we'll just wait it out. I don't know. We want to listen to music from the SpaceX stream or from Tim. That's I think we can listen to music for a little bit and then listen back to Tim's stream. I'll keep, of course, all 4 streams up, although they're basically showing all the same things. But I will keep Tim's stream up here to see if that explodes. Let me turn on the SpaceX stream. It's a bit loud, isn't it? There we go. Alright, I'll be back at T plus 36 minutes.
If the planes are out of there, it might mean that we're going to see this thing go kaboom, and it might be quite spectacular because they will actually have to trigger flight termination system to do that. So let's keep all eyes on that. I'm going to just try to not look away too much. I'm going to try not looking away too much. I have to. But that might be exciting. Yell at me. Give me a good audio if you see it start to go so I don't miss it. But let's keep trying to answer a few questions. You can't yell quicker than explosion, but thank you so much to Alejo, I'm guessing, from Argentina. Oops, I didn't realize that was political. I didn't mean to do that. I apologize. We're trying to avoid that. I know everyone's got things that they're excited about, but today we're talking spaceflight only, my friends. I think SpaceX has never aborted a Starship IFT attempt, right? They did abort IFT-1 from April 17th to April 20th. It was a 3-day thing. Other than that, every single one now has gone off on their first. I mean, granted, like yesterday, do you count yesterday as a scrub because it was supposed to launch yesterday? But that wasn't like a mechanical. That was just purely weather. They flew it today because of weather considerations. So, yeah, basically more or less, no. Starship is not really scrubbed after the first one at all, which is absolutely crazy. Jeff Berg, thank you so much for becoming a member. Nick G, what do I think of the next 4 years of Starship? Will it look like point-to-point landings on Earth? No. Moon landings, hopefully. Mars, no. I think that, I really do think... hey, John, can we have John point the camera down a tiny bit just so that if this thing does go boom while we have comments up, we don't miss out on part of the explosion because of the comments? Perfect. Thank you, John. That's great. That'll be good. Fantastic. Don't want to ruin that opportunity. But yeah, I think in 4 years we will have. Wow, look at it! It's like pitching up like crazy. I wonder if they're just still continuing to drain. I don't know how it's pitching up that much. You can see it rocking up and down from here. It's sinking. They must be bringing water in. Maybe they opened up all the fill valves and they're just letting it take on water. Or it's being eaten alive by a giant shark. Wow. But I think, as far as where will this vehicle be in 4 years, I think we're going to see more of this. We're going to see, more catching, more failing, more progress. I think in 4 years, we hopefully will have obviously operational payloads being deployed. I think we'll have the tanker solution easily figured out. I think they'll have landed the Starship on the moon in 4 years. And the ultimate question is, 4 years, will they be sending that first Starship uncrewed off to Mars? First 1 or 2 off to Mars? Maybe. If they can have 4, I think they need 4 towers. I think they need to be flying these things weekly at that point. Wow, it is moving so much. But yeah, I think we're still not going to see Mars, but hopefully we see at least an uncrewed lunar lander of Starship in 4 years, and maybe even humans getting close in that time frame. And hopefully in 4 years, by then, maybe Jared Isaacman will have flown as well. Let's see. Interesting. Rick, dirigibles have a rigid airframe. Blimps have an envelope or soft shape. So I was wrong. I thought the whole thing, the lighter than air, all those were called dirigibles. You're right. Dirigible is rigid, like a Zeppelin. Yeah, crap. Well, there we go. Let's see. Gimbal undo. No, absolutely. I say Elon's name all the time. What are you talking about? See, this is what I'm talking about. Someone out there is taking what I'm saying and they're filtering it through their own viewpoint. And I've been talking about Elon the whole time. And I'm proud of the work that Elon does. Absolutely. But like I said, I'm here to talk about rockets. When people put more onto that, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not a political channel. I don't understand how people still, despite me saying what we're doing, we're watching a rocket launch, period. How does that still get filtered through? Yeah, but don't. Enjoy what we have. We have a beautiful world that is being explored by the most powerful rocket of all time. I mean, this is crazy stuff. Ben Moran, do I think Sea Dragon rocket could be resurrected in the near future due to an increased demand for cargo? Much love from Northern Ireland. I think sea launch is the absolute wrong way to go. It's just basically a big, giant, dumb, inefficient rocket. And it could only take up that massive vehicle prototype or concept would only launch about an Apollo capsule. So it's like 10 times bigger and can only do, than Starship, and can only do 1/10 of the payload capability of what Starship can do. So I think the right answer is fully reusable. I don't think a big, giant, dumb booster is the way to go. By the way, we are kind of coming up on the Raptor relay, so let's maybe go picturing or side by side again, and it has just been banana, isn't it? This isn't that exhilarating. Kind of fun, but not that fun. Also, make sure we listen in if they start to talk at all. Thank you so much, Wouter Simmons. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate that. Fintan Bork, 3 boosters, 1 Starship, bigger Dragonfly. That would be, well, no, they will never do a super heavy booster. That is like a super heavy, sorry, or like a Starship heavy where you have tri-cores. SpaceX learned, and Elon's talked about it a few times, that that's just not the way to go. It's easier to make, especially at this scale now, when they have a production site, it's easier to make a bigger booster to, you know, to meet your needs, to meet the needs of launch capacity, than it is to do, you know, multiple staging events and have, you know, recoverable boosters and all that stuff. It's just a lot more, you know, it's a lot more straightforward when you just upscale the vehicle to fit your needs, especially with something like Raptors and Starship, where you have 33 engines now, 20 engines on the outside. You could add another ring to that. You can literally make it a, you know, from going from 9 meters wide, they could go to 12 meters wide or whatever, and, you know, potentially put another 33, you know, double the amount of engines and double the diameter, or not double, but go from 9 to 12. And
we are
at least, you know,
just
double
about
the mass of the
35
vehicle.
minutes into
So we're getting
today's
close, by the way,
flight
to that
test,
Raptor
continuing
relay.
to get some live views from Starship itself as it
This is from
continues to make
painting on the
its way
ceiling. I
around
was
the
there for the
globe.
last lunch, and it was amazing. The
We
catch of the
are
heavy
coming
rocket was
up
stunning. I'm so
on
sad.
what we will hopefully.
Alright. I'm back. We're gonna have the Raptor relight engine here soon. And yeah. Let me turn off Tim here real quick. So yeah, we have the SpaceX stream. Hold on, SpaceX stream up, and yeah, we will have a engine relight here soon. Let me turn off the SpaceX stream in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's annoying me. Here underneath he already mentioned it, but in the SpaceX stream you can see there's a lightning storm or a thunderstorm. You can see the lightning in the clouds. It's pretty cool. Yeah, there just above the flap you can see it. Now watch on the bottom right hand corner. There you can see if the engines are relit. And yeah, let me listen in and try to see if there is something. The stream seemed to be buffering. We did have the relight start up. And shut down already. Wow. I did kind of miss it, I do apologize. I didn't realize it was starting. But that was the first time a Raptor was lit in space. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna listen in and see when the re-entry is, and then I'll be back for that, I think. Let me know if you have any questions. On second thought, I think I'm just going to stay here. You already see the altitude dropping there in the bottom right corner. And yeah. Why is it so special to light the engines in space? Because it's never been done before, and it's actually only the second Methalox engine to ever be relit in space. So yeah, it's never been Raptor's never been launched again, relit, and yeah. I'm not really sure what is happening. What is, if this is plasma or not? It shouldn't be. It's still pretty high up, but it looks like it is plasma. But I'm not really sure what's happening. Yeah, it does look like it looks like that is the plasma. Yeah, it is the plasma. So yeah, we can see, although we're already at 116 kilometers, you can see it's getting more. They said they would do a sort of a nose down entry, so they would go with the nose a little bit forward than usual, more forward than usual. I'm not really sure why. I think it's they said it's to stress test the vehicle and to see if the heat shield can hold up. But it is flickering a lot, which kind of does concern me. Now, the next couple minutes are gonna, or maybe 10-15 minutes are interesting. We're gonna see a belly flop, so it's gonna come in very steep, meaning that the engines are mostly gonna point towards the Earth as it starts to re-enter, and as it starts to come further and further down, it's gonna flatten out until eventually it will basically be falling directly downwards. This is kind of what we saw with the SN15 and before, so that they came up, went up, and then came directly back down. That will basically set them up to do a flip maneuver, so to say, to flip from horizontal, so laying with the heat shield down, to a vertical position where they can then do a propulsive landing. The main thing that is important here is that the vehicle is big enough and light enough so that its terminal velocity when facing basically directly into the airstream, so with the belly first, with the side of the vehicle first, that this is so causes so much resistance that it's able to slow the vehicles down significantly, and then it's only falling It's only falling, sorry I yawned, it's only falling at a couple hundred kilometers an hour. Yeah, for then the relight to be as easy as possible. This saves a lot of fuel, and it also allows for reduced engine size. So, you know, reduced engine power, which means less weight, which means more cargo to orbit. And so to see the flap, which the camera is on, kind of start to move, there's a shot of the skirt. This is looking down out where the engines are, is covered by a metal skirt, and that's looking into that, or out of that I should say, looking at the Earth right now, but that'll flatten out. Yeah. There we can see a combination of flaps. One seems to be, the bottom one seems to be a rear flap. You can see that moving as well. The middle seems to be a top flap. You can see that moving. And then the top view is the skirt view, as well as on the right, just from one of the top flaps, looking down the vehicle. When this top flap moves, now you can see how the whole image shifts. Yeah, the flaps are basically there to guide the vehicle and make it so to keep it oriented properly. And yeah, that's kind of their main purpose. They're not so much wings, but more control surfaces. Regarding the booster, one of the speculated reasons is that during liftoff, the top of the antenna got damaged. We can switch to that stream. The top of the antenna just below that clock, you can see I think it's a lightning rod, and it has cameras on it, and also sensors, I believe. That was damaged during takeoff or liftoff, and that's why it decided to terminate its approach and land in the Gulf of Mexico instead, which it's still sitting at right now. We can see that here on the left-hand view. There seems to be a drone above it, presumably from SpaceX, because there's still a no-flight zone for all other people except for SpaceX. So yeah, let's switch back to the SpaceX view. You can see now the flaps, as we get deeper and deeper into the atmosphere, the flaps start to move more and more, and you can also see the plasma turning from a red to almost a purple. That'll get even more intense. How big are the flaps? They are, well, they're pretty big. I don't really know a specific measurement, but when we take the Starship height, which is like, I believe 42 meters or something like that, 50 meters. Yeah, let me double check that again. Yeah, almost exactly 50 meters. If we take that and maybe a fifth of that, so maybe 10 meters high are the bottom flaps, and then I would say maybe 7 meters or 6 meters are the top flaps. The material, it's all Starship's completely stainless steel, rolled stainless steel, so it's pretty cheap. And also then it's covered by a thermal protection system, which are little tiles. The flaps are also made out of the steel and also covered, and they develop a special heat shield that can rub against itself for the actuating points of the flaps. They're that's not engine relight, that's just when a low pressure zone builds up, it vaporizes the air or the moisture in the air, causing some condensation. It can also be a combination of that, or something to do with that, or that we're still so high up in the atmosphere that the flaps are not enough to steer, and that's why the reaction control system is being used alongside it. You can see all these streaks you can see in the plasma. It doesn't look like it's moving a lot, but it's moving extremely fast. You can see 26,000 kilometers an hour. The streaks you can see are little imperfections in the heat shield, where either it's where there's little imperfections in the heat shield where it's either too hot or too cold. You can see little flakes coming off of that now, but yeah. Yona, I hope you have a good night, and yeah, goodbye. Thank you for coming. So there are in total 6 engines on Starship. You can see on the bottom right hand corner there, you can see there's 6 engines in total. The 3 big circles are Raptor vacuum engines. Those are used for, you know, in orbit and going to orbit. Maneuvers or burns, and then in the middle you can see 3 regular Raptor engines. These are the ones that are used for the flip maneuver and also the landing burn. The flip maneuver happens with 3 engines, then they switch down to 2, and then they go back down to 1 at the very end. If they had more than 1, they would start to they would be thrust positive, so to say, so that the thrust would be stronger than what the vehicle weighs. We're just about 70 kilometers into the atmosphere now. This is where it starts to, you know, the atmosphere starts to get really thicker, significantly thicker. And also, it's also indicated by how much quicker our speed is dropping now. You can see we're just above 24,000 kilometers an hour now, and yeah. You can also see the Starship rotation there to the left of the numbers that updates in real time, or it's supposed to anyways. But you can still see we're still pretty steep. You have to imagine the way we are flying is to the left, according to the little illustration. So it's flying towards the left, so to say, or the wind resistance coming from the left on the little illustration. We can see we're maybe at a 35 degree angle on the ship. But this will, as it slows down, you know, this arc will start to flatten, or the arc will start to get steeper, but the Starship will start to flatten out. You can already see we just already dropped 1 speed of sound, or 1,000 kilometers an hour again, which we're slowing down a lot quicker. It's starting to get really hot now. I mean, you can see it glowing. That little light on the flap, it was a little bit more significant a minute ago. That's not leaking or something. That's just a reflection, I believe, or so was discussed in the chat. On the flaps on the left side, the views, you can start to see the metals starting to discolor from the heat. Some metals tend to do this. I think it comes from oxidation, but it's a lot easier for metals to oxidize when they're very hot, because they're less stable. So oxygen can bond with them a lot easier. Yeah, when it gets hot, it is able to to oxidize more quickly and discolor. You can see another thing in the chat that was just discussed. There seems to be a big dent halfway between the time and the left side of the frame. There's like it just looks like a big dent inside in the ship. It's kind of halfway covered by this light gray overlay. There again from the skirt the views. I'm not sure what this little streak is. It looks like it's just somewhere where material is being burnt off, and that is burning. There on the bottom now you can start to see the Earth moving at 60 kilometers, and it is coming in very, very fast. This was, I think, a little bit faster than what we saw. It also looks like every time you see color that's not purple or red inside the plume, every time you see a green color or blue color in the plasma, it means the something that's not supposed to be burning is burning away, which is not the point of the heat shield. There's two types of heat shields. There's a blade of heat shields, and like this one, sort of reusable heat shields for a while. I mean, this can do maybe 10-15 flights. But there you can see actually on the bottom that little bump where the aft flap attaches. You can start to see the heat towel starting to glow a red color, and you can also see chunks basically flying off the heat shield and then vaporizing. Yeah, you can see at 58 kilometers above the Earth now, we are still traveling 17 times the speed of sound or so, which is very, very fast. I think it's a lot faster than what we were last re-entry. Also, what's great about the Starship, it's so big that it punches a hole through the atmosphere, through the plasma that it generates, so that Starlink satellites are able to pick up the signals, the camera feeds. It punches a hole through the atmosphere so that Starlink can basically communicate still with it. And yeah, I'm not sure what the material of the heat shield is actually. I believe it is something. I believe fastest plane was an experimental plane dropped from another mothership, so to say, and that was, I think, Mach. Oh, that's the fastest powered plane. Sorry, I think that was Mach 7, so 7 times the speed of sound, which is also pretty fast. But I think that was even higher up than this. You can start to see the heat shield turning green. It's most likely copper that's in the heat shield, so maybe there's some sort of copper. Ooh, that didn't look good. Looked like somewhere something burned through. And also see on the middle picture on the left, you can see the stuff starting to come through the flap, sort of burning the hinge away, or the actuating point of the flap. Now we're 50 kilometers. You can see we're still oriented pretty steep, but we're starting to flatten out. You can see it on the graphic, on the illustration or whatever it's called, on the bottom there. And yeah, more and more chunks are flying off. But you can see that the heating has subsided, so to say, or the visual heating. It's still getting hotter. You can already see on the top of the Starship. There's also some discoloration. On this flap, you can see there's a Starlink panel, that little black octagon made of little hexagons, and there you can see that's a Starship, a Starlink panel, a Starlink antenna. There on the top, you can start to see the discoloration on the actual ship getting so hot. Now the biggest problem with this is the ship can handle it, the steel can handle it, but what can't handle is the cold fuel inside. So as soon as it gets hot, it wants to expand, which then leads to excess pressure that needs to be vented out, which means there will be a loss of fuel. Now this is not looking too good. You can see the flaps starting to kind of burn through, but I think the main heating is pretty much over. Yeah, there you can see it's starting to cool down a little bit. We're now at 40 kilometers. This fuel is now not in the main tanks anymore, but in the header tanks, which are little round tanks that can be both used in the vertical position and in the horizontal, so you can perform a flip maneuver and have fuel for the engines in both positions. 35 kilometers now, 4,000 kilometers an hour, which is, I think, around what we had last time, so it did manage to overcome that slight overheating. The Starship will land in the Indian Ocean. Landing it back in Starship would mean landing it back at Starship at Starbase would mean having to do a full orbit, which I believe it's not qualified to do, and would also mean that it needs to fly low over populated areas, which is also a big no-no. The fuel gets just pumped. Just gets pumped by just some pumps up to the header tanks. I believe the header tanks are actually left empty during launch because they're so small that they're not small, but relatively small. You can see this flap starting to actuate a lot now. The header tanks are so small that it's not helpful to have them full during launch, and they would need a full separate venting system and so on So everything else is, I believe, vented directly back into the main fuel tank if it's overpressured. Now you can see, we're only at 600 kilometers an hour, which it's looks very, very nice. I don't actually know what the minimum, what the terminal velocity of this is at sea level. Then we'll have to see, I guess. I think it will relight at around 1 kilometer, if I'm not mistaken. I can really see how that camera is being actuated by that flap. You can again see that discoloration on the side of the ship. The clouds seem to be very, very low, in 5 kilometers already, and maybe they're at 2 kilometers or 2.5. Go into the clouds now. There you can see some venting. Yeah, that's liquid oxygen venting from the skirt, and the methane is venting from the middle of the ship. You can really see those flaps actuating. I mean, we're at 1 kilometer. Let's see when the relight is. 300 kilometers an hour. Oh, there's the relight. Yeah. You kind of see it swings over and then back. There seems to be a buoy in the water. Yeah, there you can see the buoy's video. That's incredible. And it touched down. Might see an explosion here. There seems to still be a little bit of methane left in the... There's the buoy view. There, it's floating on the ocean. Let's see if we'll have an explosion here. But okay, well, they cut away. That's unfortunate. Oh, they're back. Oh, they're cut away again. The shirts of them are very funny. But yeah, I think I will wrap it up here. I need to sleep. It's past midnight here already. So yeah, I'll wrap it up. And I hope you enjoyed the little live stream. I'm not really even know how long I was live for, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I guess I will see you guys in the next video, probably about this or something else. Alright, until next time, bye bye.